Hi, Pastor Nathan Deck with your hashtag Better Together Devotion for today. And this week, I've been all about this hiking trip that I took and using it as a metaphor to talk about our faith journey. Well, one of the conversations I had with a guy that I met on the trail was about hiking in general. And he was a part of the AT Trail community, the Appalachian Trail. And he knew all these phrases, and there's all kinds of ways of doing the Appalachian Trail. We talked about the through hikers, the ones who start in Georgia or Maine and go all the way back, go all the way north or south to either direction. And then we talked about other hikers. So there are hikers who are segment hikers. They hike different segments of the trail along the way. And then there are other hikers, they're called blue blazers. You see, there are these blue blazed trails along the AT trail that are shortcuts, if you will. They're shorter in distance, and so you can blue blaze the AT trail and do it faster because of these shortcuts, and that's okay. And then there are others. They're called platinum blazers. And I'd never heard that one before, but he told me that platinum blazers, they're wonderful folks. They go and they hike all day through the trail, and then they get picked up by a shuttle bus or an Uber and go to a hotel that night and sleep. And then the morning they get an Uber or a shuttle to go back to the trail where they left and go on more. You know, everybody has their own way of doing life. Everybody has their own way of doing a hike. He shared with me this phrase: everyone's hike is their own trail to hike. I really like that because it spoke to me of what our faith journey is a lot alike. Because each of us are having interactions with one another and with God that are unique to who we are. There is one Spirit in so many different ways that the Spirit speaks and connects with us. One Spirit and so many different gifts and talents and passions that God inspires us to be. The disciples had difficulty with this. In the gospel, Jesus is talking to the disciples as they come back from one of their two by two trips, and the disciples say, Jesus, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we told him to stop because he wasn't one of us. There's an inherent tribalism in who we are to think that the way that we do things and the way that we experience faith must be the only way possible. But the reality is that the more we put God in a box, the more God desires to get out of that box and to be beyond any possible reasoning or thinking or experiencing or even scientific, way of measuring. God is beyond it. God is so beyond my limited scope of being and understanding. And while I have to have this limited view for me personally, because I'm a limited being, God is unlimited. And so there are so many different ways that Christ can encounter us and be the way for us. In what you do as your spiritual practices and journey, you may try to take on something that somebody else finds fruitful for them, and it may not be your gig, and that's okay. Give yourself some self-compassion and say, okay, I tried it and found out it wasn't for me. I'm going to go try something else instead. Find what feeds your soul. Find what connects you to the divine. Find what connects you to God, because God is constantly trying to reach out to you in your particular way. Everyone's hike is their own trail to hike. Everyone's life is their own path to encounter God in. Go and find God and be better together by doing so. Amen.